How to not be a skinny bitch? This is a question I get a lot. A lot of people are asking me, David, you used to be so skinny. Now you're built like Hercules. How did you do it? And I said to myself, for the sake of humanity, I will show you how I went from someone who used to be very skinny to someone who is built like a mountain. And how also you can achieve this. So, it all started in the year 2011. I was 6 years old. I was in the first grade of elementary school. And what I remember, the first thing that comes to my mind is my sister coming up to me and showing this video. It was about this kid. He was the same age as me, but he was from Russia. He was fucking jacked. He had those muscles, he had six-pack, he had those delts. He was jacked. He could do push-ups with one hand, with no legs. And I was amazed. I wanted to be like that. So I started working out. I started doing 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups. That was my thing. I used to do it for kinda consistently, kinda, sometimes, but I used to do it. Then when I got a little bit higher in the second grade, so I was 7 years old, I used to do 200 push-ups and 200 sit-ups. And I said to myself, I will do this every single grade. So when I will get in third grade, I will do 300. When in the fourth grade, I will do 400 and so on. What I really remember is fifth grade. The fifth grade is kind of special to me because fifth grade is the only grade I remember I was overweight. I admit it, I was overweight. That was the last and the first time I was overweight. I have a very interesting memory from it. Kind of like funny memory for me. I remember I used to watch this show. It was called The Regular Show. And there was this one character named Mitch. And Mitch couldn't look at his feet, couldn't look at his shoes because he was too fat, his belly was too big. And I said to myself, okay, let's try this theory. So I went to the bathroom and I like looked down like this. And I couldn't see my feet. I was like, fuck, I'm fat. And at the time I was at my grandma's place. I was like, okay, I will go to my grandma. I will say, I think I'm fat. She will probably be like, no, sweetie, you are at the optimal weight. You're looking good. Do you want some dessert? I thought this will be like her reaction. So I opened the door, I went to her, and I was like, Grandma, I think I'm fat. And she was like, well, I was like, fuck, like, what the fuck, Grandma? Like, I know it's not the funniest story, but it's like a very good memory I have with my grandma. But anyways, so we get into the sixth grade. And the sixth grade is very interesting because this is where all of the fat I had was gone. As I was growing, I was losing more and more weight. And from that point, I was starting to be skinny. From that point to high school, basically. From that point, I was working out from sixth grade to the ninth grade because of girls. I want to impress girls, so I was working out doing again push-ups and sit-ups. But I was doing them once a year, so I wasn't doing them very consistently. I was like, okay, I did it for a month. Okay, I don't want to do it anymore. I was too lazy. But I built some decent muscles. I built some muscle memory through that time. So it was going good. So we get into the first grade of high school. The first grade of high school is very special to me. It's very, very special because it all changed that grade. So it's year 2020. C19 is around the corner, right? And on October of 2020, the schools in my country were shutting down. So we went on the Zoom meetings and Google Meets for, we can say, entire school year. So the entire time I was home. And I was like, yes, I can work out. I have time, I can work out. Well, it ended up me just playing video games, watching videos, and watching Twitch streamers the whole fucking time. I was too lazy to do anything. So I just was just procrastinating, basically. Just doing nothing. And from that point, I remember it was probably beginning of summer. And I once look at myself. I look at myself in a mirror. It was like a random moment. I just saw myself and I was kind of disgusted. I was looking at myself and I was disgusted. For no reason. I was skinny. I was disgusted how I looked. So this is where everything basically changed. So I remember looking at myself in the mirror and I had this voice. The voice was asking me, is this the best you can do? Is this the potential you think you have? And I said, no, I think I have a much bigger potential to reach. And in that moment, you will have two voices. You will have that bitch voice and you will have that grown man voice. And the bitch voice was like, this is not your fault. Your metabolism is very fast. It's really hard for you to gain weight. The world is very hard. It's very cruel. You cannot do anything about it. And the grown man voice was like, this is all your fucking fault. You look how you look because of yourself. You cannot blame it on anyone. You cannot blame it on anything. This is because of fucking you. And you can either cry about it and talk about how the world is cruel and how the world is unfair, or you can do fucking something about it. And you can reach the potential you think you have. From that point, I started working out. I started looking up the best exercises, started looking at videos, how to do those exercises. My goal, I remember, I want to be wider. So it was focusing on the shoulders, on back, and on chest. That was the main thing. I didn't exercise legs. Crucify me. So I was looking up how to eat, how much you need to rest, how much you need to work out, all the different stuff. It's very important. So, in the first 2 months of me consistently working out and me eating right, I gained over 7 kilograms. So I went from being 69 kilograms to 76. And I remember that at the time, people were also like saying I look like bigger, I look better. And it felt good. Then I went back to school and I lost everything in first week. So I was back at 69 kilograms. And I was 69 kilograms the whole entire second year of high school. So we get into summer of 2022, so the next summer. And I went from being 69 kilograms to 86 in 2. So somehow I sustained it. I sustained my weight. So I'm not 86 kilograms now. I'm around 82, but I'm still like near the weight. So I didn't like drop down again. So I'm, consistent with it. And I also work out twice a week at the weekends, right? So this is like my thing. But what I talk about in the last video, that if you have a good body, if you have a strong body, you won't be very sad, you won't be depressed or anything. This is 100% true. From the summer to this point, I haven't been depressed or sad. And I haven't felt it somehow. This is the main reason. Because I could sustain the weight, sustain all the muscles I have. And basically, it's a very interesting thing to have. So basically, this is uh, everything from my basically journey. So we get into second part of the video when I will teach you how you can basically gain muscle and gain weight. We have 5 main things you need to think about. Right? There are 5 main things that help me to gain weight and muscles and will help you to gain muscles and weight. So the first thing would be rest. So what I mean by that? Rest days. The days you take off, the days you don't work out, are also very important. There's a saying that you need to at least give that muscle 48 hours to fully recover so you can go work out again. So basically, when I used to work out, I used to work out on Monday, I had a rest day on Tuesday. I used to work out on Wednesday, I had a rest day on Thursday. This pattern, I used to have this pattern. I used to work out 4 times a week. But also you can work out 5 times a week because back then I didn't work out. I didn't have leg days, so I was just working on the upper body. So yeah, but probably you need to have at least 2 rest days in your schedule. You need to have at least 2 rest days. And the more important thing is sleeping. Because sleeping is when your muscles are recovering. It's basically when you are growing and basically when your muscles are recovering, right? You need to keep that in mind. And you need to have at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep for your muscles to fully recover. This is a must. There's no argument about that. Second thing, consistency. How much time are you working on the specific muscle? Right? So, for example, you want to grow your chest. You should work on the chest at least 2 times a week. If you want to grow muscles, you need to train those muscles at least 2 times a week. That's like the minimum you need to work on them. Also, what's very important is to keep in mind what specific muscle are you working on. For example, you need to sort it out on which days are you training which muscle. For example, the best strategy you can implement is push and pull. Push and pull days, which means when it's pull days, you will train arms and your back. When it's push days, you will work your chest and your shoulders. And also you can give a lower body, which is abs and legs if you want to. This is how you can sort it out. And you really need to keep in mind the consistency. You need to at least work that muscle 2 times a week. When I used to work out, the first 2 months of me working out, I used to work out, I think it was chest and back and arms and shoulders. That was my stretch back then. But I think push and pull is better. It's better, but you can try it out. But it's more specific on the muscle groups that are implemented when are doing the push or pull movements. So keep in mind. Number 3, add on. I would call it add on. What I mean by that? Add on more sets. Add on more repetitions. Add more weight. So, the basic of how to grow muscles is you need to keep getting more repetitions and more weight, right? This is how the muscles are built. More tension, bigger muscles. Ta-da. But you need to do it in a smart way, not in dumb way. Or else you will get injured and you probably will have some problems or issues when you're going to be older. So keep that in mind. So what I used to do is I used to do 4 sets It's six repetitions, and for example, like 5 kilograms. So in the next workout, I would do 8 repetitions with 5 kilograms, then 10, then 12. When I get to 12, I will add 2 kilograms, but go back to 6 repetitions. And this just goes again and again, right? Keep in mind, matters how much repetitions are you doing, right? So from 12 repetitions, you are starting to build strength, not muscle. From 6 to 12 is building muscle. From 12 and above is building strength. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind when you are like trying to make your plan. Right? This you need to keep in mind. The fourth thing, the second most important thing on this list is food. How much you eat. I cannot stress this enough. This is very important. So listen up. Your muscles, right? Your muscles, when you work out, they, they get destroyed. And for it to get back and to be stronger, they need materials. They need those building blocks. By taking enough calories and protein, those are like the building blocks. Those are the building blocks for the muscles. Yes, the muscles recover when you sleep, but it needs that material. It needs those building bricks to build it. This is why it's so important. This is why you need to eat enough calories. So back in the day when the first summer, the first 2 months, I was gaining weight. When I gained 7 kilograms, I was eating 4 meals a day. So I had breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the fourth meal was most of the time cereals with banana, right? But most of the time it was like eggs for breakfast, for lunch, some meat with rice or something that came, and lunch was most of the time like. So when I used to work out back in the day, the first 2 months, I used to have 4 meals. So I had breakfast. Breakfast was usually like eggs and something like this. Lunch was basically some meat, some rice, and something just, that just came. Dinner was mostly like pasta, pizza, and, burgers, everything basically. And the fourth was most of the time like some cereals with banana. That was everything. And I gained 7 kilograms from it. The next summer, I was eating 4 meals at the beginning. The first week, I was eating 4 meals, but it didn't, I could see I wasn't getting that much weight. So I decided to have 5 meals. So I had one extra meal between breakfast and lunch. It was some sort of like a shake. So in that shake, there was peanut butter, milk, protein powder, oats, and banana. And for that, it was around 800 calories. And I'm not joking. Around 800 calories. It was a lot. So I was eating 5 meals a day. I gained a lot from eating 5 meals a day. And I'm sticking up with like 5 meals a day. When you're starting, I recommend eating 4 meals a day. And then if you feel comfortable getting 5, I would tell you, if you are eating like normally, like 3 meals, and you're switching up to 4, you will need to get used to it. And most of the time you will feel like kind of like sick, like you're about to throw up. I used to like feel like that when I used to eat the 4th meal. So you need to get used to it. Your stomach needs to get used to it. And then you can switch it up to 5, because like going from 3 to 5 is too much. Go from 4 to 5, not from 3 to 5. That's dumb. Don't do that. So those are calories. Also, you need to intake protein. So with protein, keep in mind, what I learned is, imagine your weight in kilograms. For example, I have 82 kilograms. I need to eat at least times 1.5. No, 1.5. 1.7 to 8 times my weight. So for me, it would be around like 160 grams of protein, for example, right? 160 grams of protein. So calculate it right now. You have your weight in kilograms times 1.8 or 1.7, and this is how much you need to take. This is how much your body needs, basically. And most of the time, the protein that came is like eggs are very good, meat, a lot of cheese and milk, and also protein powder. Protein powder is like, for me, it was the only like a supplement I used. I never used creatine. I never used pre-workout or anything. This was like my main thing I used. But yeah, this, keep in mind calories. So how much you eat per day. So 4 to 5 meals, and then how much of protein you are getting. Those are the main things you need to remember when it comes to food. The fifth thing, the most important thing, is discipline. No matter how much you will eat, no matter how much you will sleep, if you don't want to work out, when you don't feel like it, you will be fucked. You won't achieve it. You won't achieve the body you want. You need discipline. I will guarantee you will go through days when you don't feel like going to the gym. You will have days when you don't want to eat 4 meals or 5 meals a day. But you will need to still eat it because you're a fucking man and you need to do it. This is how we are. Doesn't matter how you feel, whether it matters to the work to get done. Doesn't matter how much you eat, doesn't matter how much you sleep. If you are not disciplined, or if you're not trying to be at least disciplined, you won't make it. And you will never have the body you want.